There we go. What's going on? Welcome to a little bit of a gear video. This is going to be for the Hemlock Mountain Outdoors UglyQuilts. I know I don't usually do Hemlock Mountain Outdoor gear, and if you're not familiar with why, I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But if you want to just get right to the gear, you go down into the description, you'll see some chapters in there. You can skip past the About Me and Hemlock Mountain Outdoors part and get right to the gear. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about why I haven't been doing a lot of Hemlock Mountain Outdoors gear and why I'm going to start. So Hemlock Mountain Outdoors is my business, and it's a small little business. I wouldn't even call it a company. Little business. It's just me. This is my shop. This is where I make everything. I do hammocks and tarps and quilts and pouches and stuff like that. And when I first started Hemlock Mountain Outdoors, I have a Hemlock Mountain Outdoors channel, and I was trying to keep that separate. And I do. I thought I'd do more videos like this there, but I just haven't. I just use it for product videos that link to the website. So a lot of times will talk about the gear in a video. I'll be like, oh, this is my coyote pack, or this is, right now I'm sitting in the West Rim. But I don't really go into it too much because I don't know, I just always felt kind of odd promoting my own stuff. I guess that's, if that I don't know if that sounds weird, because I was trying not to, I don't know, I feel like if I'm using this channel to sell my stuff, it's not what this channel's about. So yeah, it was a weird thing in my head that I didn't want to talk about my gear, like the gear that I make. I don't know why I'm weird about stuff like that. But so every time I talk to somebody about it, they'd be like, "You're nuts. Just do it. Give yourself the free publicity. Talk about your gear." Yeah, I figured I'd talk about what I'm using for my installation, because a lot of people ask, what do you use? So we're gonna get to that right now. So if you skipped past all the gibberish about me and Hemlock Mountain Outdoors, and welcome, we're gonna take a look at the UglyQuilts and what exactly are UglyQuilts. They are synthetic insulation quilt systems for your hammock. And the top quilt you could use on the ground too, and I have done that. So let's get into the gear itself. So this is a 50-degree UglyQuilt Under quilt, and this is a 50-degree UglyQuilt top quilt. Now, this is not the size bag. You can see it's already like popping out. This is my personal quilt right here. This is the one that I've been testing for like the last 3 years. I never made a bag for it. I just crammed this into a compression sack that I put both my top and my top quilt and my under quilt in. This is just a spare bag I had laying around. I just crammed in here so I could weigh it. So weight-wise, the under quilt comes in at about 1 pound 9 ounces for the 50 degree, and then it goes up to about 2.5 pounds, 2.8 pounds with like a 10 degree. Or 0 degree. I don't really do 0 degrees too much, but 10 degree, about 2.4 pounds, because it is synthetic insulation. So the top quilt's about 1 pound 1 pound 3 ounces, something like that. Again, not the bag that this is supposed to go into. And when I say synthetic insulation, I mean it's not down. So down comes from a duck or goose. It's a natural fiber. It's very light. It compresses really well. However, if you get any damage to your quilt, if you got a puffy jacket that's got downfill, and you get even like a burn hole from a spark in a fire, you could just have your down come out. So you got to put tape on it. You see people tape on their stuff. Synthetic, that doesn't happen because it's like this. You could use this as a blanket just without any cover, without a shell or a liner. So I'm using this stuff. This is called Climate Shield Apex, and this I think is the 30 degree material. So it's not super bulky, but it does not compress as well as down. It's not quite as light as down, but it is a lot cheaper, and it is very, 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 very rugged. I mean, you wouldn't take your down and compress it as tight as you could for very long without risking damaging the down. This stuff, I've actually, to save space shipping one of these ones, I vacuum sealed it. And it's fine. It's how I get it. I get it vacuum sealed. So the shell and the liner are made from 1.6 ounce Hyper D XL. So it's a wide fabric. It's about 1.6 ounces per square yard, but it's real rugged. It's the same stuff I make the hammocks out of. So the quilt and the hammock made out of the same thing. Super rugged, and it's ripstop, so it should last a long, long time. Now, let's look at the top quilt first, because this is the new one. Now, there's some differences between the one I'm about to show you and what I actually make now, because this one is 3 years old. The differences are basically just in the way I sew it together. It's the same basic construction style. It's just, you can see, well, I guess it's kind of the same thing. It's got, like, well, it's kind of hard to see on it. There's like a double baffle edge on the sides, and it's easier to see on the under quilt, so I'll show you there. But the way it's put together, it just kind of makes like this weird baffle. You can kind of see it on there. And one of the original under quilts I made, I never really had the name for these. One of the original under quilts I made had this really, it was hideous. I called it the angry turtle, or the flying turtle, or something like that. And it's where the UglyQuilt name came from, and it just kind of stuck. So that's what I go with. So this one, the top quilts are 70 inches long from head to foot, and about 55 inches wide when you open them all the way up. They do come in a sewn foot box, so one that it's kind of tapered, and the foot box, it's just a quilt. And then they come in this style, which is the snap closed foot box, so it's square at the bottom, kind of like an old school sleeping bag, and it's got a series of snaps all the way down the hem there, and that allows you to open up that foot box. So if you want to use it as a blanket, if you're going to go to ground, or if you're just hanging out in camp and you're sitting in a chair and you want to just throw it over, you can pop it open, throw it on, or throw it over you on a sleeping pad or whatever, and you got a nice lightweight, small, synthetic sleeping bag, or cover, blanket, whatever you want to use it for. And like most quilts, the way you get in them is you get in the hammock first. Yeah, okay, you can see. You then take the foot end, throw it down. It's a lot easier than getting in a sleeping bag. You put your feet in where it's snapped closed, where it starts. And you just pull your feet in all the way down to the bottom. And then the top part stays open. Scooch down with some frame. Stays open. So you just lay that over you like a blanket. And that's basically how top quilt works. Most top quilts are like that, but if you're just kind of getting into it, gives you a little idea how they work. And I made these 70 inches long. I'm 5'10", and I'd like to be able to pull my quilt up over my head sometimes. I've actually got a little bit more I can go. For whatever reason, if it's a little chilly, or if I'm car camping and there's a bright light in camp, you know, if you're at like a state park or something like that, I just pull that up. But that's a quick look at the top quilt, UglyQuilt. And like I said, this is rated to 50 degrees. I'm a warm sleeper, so I can take this down easily into the 40s, sometimes into the 30s if it's not that cold for very long. And that's fine for me. So now we'll take a look at the underquilt. So these are also 70 inches long. There is a kind of cinched end, which you could open this all the way up if you wanted to, and that stretches out pretty far. with a piece of shock cord going through. The shock cord has got, one end is fixed where it is. The other end has got a barrel lock or a spring lock, so you can adjust how much you have this cinched down. You can loosen up a little bit or tighten it if you need to. And then there's two more sliders, so you can adjust the length of the suspension. Now, I've already got this set for the hammock I'm in, which is only a 9-foot, so I got this cinched all the way down. Well, not all the way, but this could still go a little bit shorter. So I'll go ahead and set this up real quick. And then there's also a carabiner at either end. So since this is so short, I just hook this right onto my cinch buckle, like so. Normally, I would attach it right here on the am steel. Just clip it right on there. It's not going to go anywhere. And then you always want to make sure that your hammock is inside the quilt. Doesn't do any good if the hammock is outside of the quilt. And since these are really actually pretty wide quilts, this is a 60-inch wide hammock, and it's completely, I mean, I could snap that right up in the middle. And that's just easy. If you need to adjust it, you can kind of reach right up, especially in a short hammock. You can reach right up this end and adjust the tightness. So it's got this two baffles, inside and outside, and it's kind of got this kind of flap. This is a natural extension of that, and basically that helps give it a little bit of structure, as you can see. So there's no drawstring inside here. It's just the tension from the ends. So yeah, these are real simple, no frills kind of quilts. They're just designed to keep you warm. That's it. Keep you comfortable while you're in your hammock. Set up easy. Once you have it set to the length of your hammock, you just clip it on, get in. You don't have to mess with it. Yeah, just simple. Nice and simple. I try to keep things simple. So right now the top quilts are available in a 50 degree and a 30 degree. I might do colder ones if someone really wants one, kind of a special order kind of thing, custom job. It's just, they don't really compress. The synthetic doesn't compress as well as down, so there's not a big call for really cold synthetic top quilts. The under quilts, 50, 30, and 10. And I also in the 50, I make a like a half quilt, a 3/4 quilt. It's 40 inches long instead of 70, and it just basically covers for me from my shoulders down to my knees. And when it's in the 60s or higher at night, that's really all you need. And sometimes I even pull that back and I don't even use it. It actually kind of works just as a bug repellent at that point. Price-wise, you start at $100 for the under quilt. That's for the 3/4 length, and $105 for the top quilt. Keep in mind these are handmade too, so there is a little bit of lead time depending on how long it takes to get the materials. Since this is all the space I have to work, I don't have a lot of storage space for extra materials. Hopefully, soon, someday, I'll have space where I can actually have just materials laying around just to fill orders as soon as they come in. So right now I'm at the mercy of material delivery, and so there is a little bit of lead time. But if you want some good handcrafted gear, check out Hemlock Mountain Outdoors. I'd appreciate it, and I hope you guys like to look at this gear, and let me know if you want to see more of these Hemlock Mountain gear videos. Let me know what you want to see. Hammocks or tarps or anything like that. Otherwise, I'll just start picking my own stuff, and you never know what you're going to get. All right, guys, see you in the next.